Hello and welcome to the first episode of Employee Spotlight on the MAM Group YouTube channel. My name is Leslie Mensah and today I'm joined by Jamie Bellal, leader of our cybersecurity division here at MAM Infotech and the newly appointed Director of Talent at MAM Group. Thank you very much for coming, Jamie. I'll dive straight into it. How did you find it adjusting to your new role as Director of Talent at MAM Group?
Very good. I've really enjoyed it. I think this is my third week now in the role. It's been interesting going from being a recruiter in cybersecurity and transitioning out of that into this new position. One that I actually enjoy a lot. The feedback has been very positive from the people. I think they've realized that they really needed this training more than ever. And it's just nice to be able to get all of this knowledge from this brain out into forms of leaflets, presentations, PowerPoints, whatever you want to do it, different sorts of avenues, so people can take on board with what I'm talking to them about. Because there's a lot of things that I think people forget about the basics, and sometimes they just need a little reminder. But also, more importantly, they also need to understand how to be successful, and that consistency is key. So being that guy who's helping them, coaching them, that isn't their boss, so it's a new perspective of them receiving constructive criticism, is something that I think is going to work really, really well for MAM going forward.
Okay, so moving on, what in your opinion are the key benefits that MAM recruiters can take from participating in your training and development courses?
Oh God, where do I start? A lot. I think one of the key benefits is, of course, training is fundamental. Here at MAM, we've got people with loads of different ranges of experience, everything from your new people who are 3 months in the business, all the way up to your seniors who have been maybe 2-3 years in the business. Everyone is different to where they're at in terms of what they need. So I think one of the key benefits for this is that it's all focused on getting the most of each person. So in this role, it's not just about giving a presentation and then that's it. It's about giving presentations, but then following up individually with people about what they've learned from that, what they need to improve on, and almost in a way creating individual training plans for them so they know where they are right now and then where they need to be within a certain time frame. And then we would agree objectives and goals together, so one-on-one, so then that way it's not just a one-way street of me telling them where they need to be by that time, we're agreeing to that time frame. So I guess that's one benefit, so an independent training plan. Another one as well is for management. Reason why is because I'm a manager, I lead a team, and when you're a manager, it's and especially when you're at management level, or even whether you're a practice lead or director or even MD, managing director at MAM, finding the time to balance, or finding the chance to balance your time between managing people, coaching people, and actually doing recruitment is very difficult. I find myself multiple times where I was focused more on training my team and mentoring them and making sure that they were doing the right things, working on the right jobs, and less time doing recruitment. Or vice versa, I'd spend a month intense recruitment, building pipeline, but then my team have forgotten. So it's very hard for management to kind of get that balance, and especially in this kind of an industry where time is of the essence. So this will be very beneficial for management because it will take a lot of load off their shoulders. They're not having to do as much training as they need to. They would always need to be involved with that because they are leaders of their team. They should always have an input in training, giving their own opinion on certain topics. It shouldn't always have to come from me, but it would take a lot of the time off their shoulders so they can focus on doing recruitment, managing, leading, and guiding teams. And more importantly, it establishes a foundation within MAM. We don't have a talent development team at MAM right now. So this is a brand new function, a brand new department. Who knows how this will develop? So I think this is a good start to the prospective journey.
Right, so as Director of Cybersecurity at MAM Infotech, you trained and developed one of our rising recruiters in Josh Mooney, who is currently one of the company's top billers. How does his progress make you feel as his main mentor in the company, and how do you hope to replicate this through your training and development schemes?
Look, I think when I got into MAM, I came to MAM with no recruitment experience. I worked in a supermarket before this, so I guess the skills that I gained were customer service oriented skills, but I never had any experience being on the phone. Going from where I was then to where I am right now, all because of the MAM platform, has been really beneficial for me and for my life. And to be able to replicate that and give other people the opportunity to do that, that's the reason why I stayed at MAM and will continue to stay here and be part of this growing journey. And I think this was the case for Josh. He came, from a, didn't come from a strong academic background, but he has a lot of qualities that just would be overlooked in other recruitment firms. But I saw them and I said, you know what, I'm going to make this my personal mission to get this guy where he needs to be. And within 2 years, he's already billing what people would do in a space of a year, and he's doing that within 6 months. And that's only with 2 years of recruitment experience. And that gives me a lot of personal gratification, I'll admit. And that's the part I really loved about being a manager, is giving people that opportunity and helping them grow and develop so they become successful and they're making a lot of money, so then they can achieve their life goals in the same way that I've achieved mine. I'm a homeowner before the age of 30. I'm married, happily married. I've got everything in life that I want. And people are working years before they get that. Whereas at MAM, you can get that very quickly. So to be able to do that and help Josh with that, of course, it was all on himself. This is the most important thing. The number one thing in recruitment is that it has to also come from yourself. I give the people the tools and the resources, but ultimately it's on them whether they want to be successful or not. He has that hunger in him to be successful. So yeah, I think to do that has been really beneficial for me, and I think that's something that I really look forward to in this position, is making other people successful just like how Josh is, and investing that time into them and getting them the development that they're looking for and they need, so then they can be six-figure billers in a very growing industry and help them achieve their personal and financial goals too.
Okay, so moving on, how do you hope to utilize your training and development schemes to positively impact the quality of our recruitment services offered to our clients in Germany?
Okay, so this one's very easy to answer. I think this is also very centralized in breaking the stigma that is present in the recruitment industry, especially within Germany. For those who are watching, in case you didn't know, UK recruiters have a very bad name in the German market for many reasons. Mostly because the people who are working in the German market who are based in the UK simply just don't know how German business operates. I think every country has its own way of doing business. The way you do business in Japan is very different to how it is in the UK. Even from, in Asian countries, when you're handing your business card, you have to do it in a very specific way. These small things really make a person stand out if they understand how business is conducted in that country. And I think because a lot of UK-based recruiters don't understand, German etiquette, how to speak to people in Germany, how to manage recruitment processes in Germany, and what to expect. So, for example, processes in the UK are a lot more quicker. People have 2-week notice periods, so things happen very fast. In Germany, it's typical for someone to have a notice period of 3 months. So you need to be prepared for that. But a lot of companies are not prepared for that. So what does that result? It results in people giving a poor quality of service, rushing things, pestering clients for feedback from candidates when they simply just don't have it, trying to rush things which are completely out of the client's control. But because we've been working in the German market for over 15 years, we know this, we understand this. And by educating our recruiters that this is what to expect, and this is how you speak on the phone, this is how you conduct yourself, this is how you take a requirement from a customer, these are things that are ultimately going to benefit our clients, because they're going to receive a candidate experience that they would have never experienced before, but in a positive way, where they will understand that they will be quickly understood, they will receive a client experience like no other, They will also experience the speed, quality, and agility that we offer as a recruitment agency, but without the negatives of working with a typical UK recruiter, but also about giving that insight that we have the industry knowledge as well. So being primarily German-based, I know we have a small US team in legal who are doing amazing work in the US, but being primarily German-based, being able to teach our recruiters how to conduct themselves in the German market, that's something that our clients are ultimately going to benefit from, to sum it up, basically.
Okay, so what are you trying to implement that's different to what other recruitment companies are doing?
Several things, really. I think the fundamental thing to kind of really grasp is what the recruitment industry is like. It's high turnover. For those who don't know, it's like a recruitment company is like having a revolving door in the entrance, people coming and going on a weekly, sometimes even on a daily basis, depending on where you're working at. And that's something that I want to avoid here at MAM. And we don't really have that kind of revolving door environment here. So because of our culture and how we retain people and all of the benefits that we offer and the platform that we offer as well. But it's just one of those things that a lot of people do leave recruitment companies because they don't feel supported. They don't get the training that they're looking for or they need even. I think that's the most fundamental thing. I've got a lot of friends that work in the recruitment business in the city, and because they have such high turnover, typically, like if they're starting off from scratch, let's say if they're a graduate from university and they're landing their first recruitment job, it would typically be in a room like this, like a conference room for 1 week. They'll call it like an academy or whatever fancy name, and it will just be full of presentations and folders and booklets of information that that person has to digest in the space of a week, and then afterwards they're just thrown on the phones, and then they're left to sink or swim. And that's why a lot of people end up coming and going within the recruitment business, because they either realize, oh, I'm not getting the support and the follow-up that I'm looking for, I'm not getting the mentorship that I'm looking for, oh, I don't understand any of this information, this is not right for me. And this is something that I don't want. I want to be able to have an environment where criticism is welcomed and it's not seen as a negative. We are not perfect as humans, I'm not perfect. I've got loads of flaws, I've got loads of weaknesses, but I also have a lot of strengths. And that's something that I hope and aim to play on, is looking at people's strengths and then helping them develop so they are going constantly in that direction. And especially for newbies who are watching this video and thinking, oh, do I apply here? I highly advise that you do, because at MAM you would get the support and the training that you would need to be on your pathway to having a successful recruitment career. Yes, we have the platform and the resources and the tools and everything else, but fundamentally you will receive a stellar training program and also the mentorship by someone who isn't your boss, to kind of constantly push you in the right direction, identify the mistakes that you're making and helping you to resolve that. And I think that's missing in a lot of recruitment companies, not only just in the UK, but even in a lot of other countries as well. It's because a lot of recruitment businesses just focus on money. Oh, we need to make a lot of money, we need to generate revenue. So for them, they're only interested in keeping those who are the higher billers. But you do get those magic stars who end up becoming high billers, even if they were at a lower level. You've just got to grow and nurture that talent. It's like football. Everyone reaches their prime at some point. For some, it's in their early 20s, like Mbappe, or I don't know, who's another young guy that's on the come up right now? Bellingham, 19 years of age, and he's already going to Real Madrid. But for some, it's when they're in their late 20s or even in their 30s. I mean, you look at Ronaldo, he's 41.
I think he's 38, actually. He's 38.
Zlatan was 41 when he retired, still in his prime, still scoring goals. So everyone has their own peak, is what I'm trying to say. So it's about giving people that time and patience so they can be successful. And I think that's something that's lacking in a lot of recruitment businesses right now, and one that I don't want to have at MAM.
Okay, so lastly, what are you hoping to achieve in the next 2 to 3 years in your new role as Director of Talent at MAM Group?
I would hope to achieve that we have a standardized way of training. Everybody is receiving the same training. as in like they are getting the similar information. So everyone is on the level of what they need to know, but also they have a personalized plan so they know where they need to improve on. We're starting to roll this out within one department and it's showing great results. The feedback has been very positive. People are not not being part of training sessions they don't need to be a part of, and vice versa. So everybody is benefiting from that. But ultimately, it would be nice to, in the next 2 to 3 years, to be able to see Gruppe having a dedicated talent management and performance management department, which is not seen as the police. I always like to describe this. I'm not the police. I don't pick out things to criticize people on and say this is where you're going wrong, but rather we look at it on the different side of the table. This is where you need to improve on. This is where you need to be. This is how you're going to get there. Obviously the rest is on you to do that. So giving that platform for people to be where they want to be, and ultimately what that would result in is people not being stuck in that resource phase for a very long time. I think if they have the tools and the ability and the hunger and the will to work their way up and become account managers and running their own little pieces of business, having that training there will really allow them to do that. But I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It's a weird question because this is such a new function within the company, and it depends on a lot of things. But if we stick to our goals and our target of being where we want to be by the end of next year and then the year after, then this department would really help with accelerating that growth and would allow people to find their feet very quickly in recruitment, but also vice versa, realize if it's really right for them or not. And I think that's something that also needs to be talked about. Recruitment's not for everyone, and this training program is not there to pick out people who it's not right for, but it's more to kind of give people the tools and the platform for them to succeed, but also it gives them the chance to realize if it is for them or not.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Jamie.
Thank you, and I can see we might be doing a lot of work together, so I'm looking forward to it.
Be sure to subscribe to the Group YouTube channel for episode 2 of Employee Spotlight. See you soon.